Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, today this is a late recap, okay? We're going to be going over Bel-Air Season 1, Episode number 6, okay? It's called The Strength to Smile. Alright, and in this episode, Aunt Viv and the family, they prepare for the memorial event for Lisa's mother, and we see that Will continues to avoid Lisa because Carlton told him to stay away from her, all right? Before all that, Will was being clowned on social media for choosing to stay in Bel Air, and this really upset him, of course, but I didn't like how Will was taking it out on Uncle Phil, as if he had something to do with it, right? Like when Uncle Phil tried to comfort him when he told Will to go into his office. Will kind of like yanked his body away from him, right? But eventually he came around, all right? So now back to the event. Viv is under pressure from the event and she calls Hillary to come through to help her out. Also, Phil tells Viv to chill out when Fred's wife Angela gets there, and she tells Phil that she doesn't have a problem with Angela. Here is where we find out that Fred got engaged to Angela less than a year after Lisa's mother, Gail, died. In this episode, we also see that Lisa is also having a tough time on this day. And most importantly, she tells Aunt Viv that she can't stand Angela and she feels like Angela is trying to take her mother's place. Alright, guys, let's talk about Uncle Phil for a moment, who's having some trouble with his campaign. He finds out that an endorsement was pulled and he already has Jeffrey looking into a few things. We later find out that Phil's so called friend, Fred Wilkes, has decided to run against him for DA. In this episode, we also find out that Ashley's crush, Lucia, is not interested in her, okay? But she's crushing on Will. I guess she's going to have to learn how to identify her people, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, back to the event, which is going well and turned out to be a success, right? So we have Angela who insists on inserting herself into this event somehow, all right? She just wants to make it about herself for some reason. She tells Viv that she wanted to help with the event and say a few words, but Viv was like, "No, we're fine. We got it. You know, the program is already set." And then Viv tells Angela that she should just let the event be about Gail and not her, okay? And somewhere during one of their conversations, Angela slips up and mentions a time when Fred took her somewhere, but it was during the time that Gail was still alive. So we find out that Fred was cheating on his sick wife, which is why he was able to move on so fast after Gail died. All right, guys? And that is just so messed up, okay? And this really hurt Viv, because she misses her friend. And to hear that she was dogged out in her last days probably had to hurt even more, so she needed to take a little break, okay? Next, Reed shows up and he tells Viv that she should enter her work into the silent auction. He tells her that if it goes for more than 15 grand or for 15 grand, she has to show her art at this gallery opening, at his gallery opening, actually, right? And when she asks him what if it doesn't, Reed says, "Then I'll leave you alone." And we already know what he did later on, okay, guys? Because he was not trying to leave her alone. He bid 15 grand on her painting because he's a freaking snake, okay? Yeah, he fine, but he a snake. And he's seriously getting on my nerves now, okay? And Viv is just too open off of his compliments that she can't see that Reed is no good at all right? Anyway, I like how Uncle Phil told Reed that he needed to get out of the room he was in because the guests are supposed to be outside. He was like, "You're a guest. How about you go do some guest stuff?" Then later on, he outbid Reed for Viv's painting. I was like, "Go ahead, Uncle Phil. That's what I'm talking about, okay?" Moving on. Will goes to check up on Lisa after she told him earlier to give him some space, all right? Because Will been acting funny and she's just like, "You know what? I don't got time for the drama between you and Carlton today, okay? So just stay away from me. That'd be best, right?" So they start talking and she tells him that tiptoeing around Carlton's emotions is exhausting and she just wants to deal with her own stuff. And little did she know Carlton was listening to her and Will's conversation from the balcony, all right? And this sent him over the edge, okay? And he goes to his room and he starts snorting away, okay? So Will goes to find him so that he can do the poem with Lisa. He sees that Carlton is a mess, right? So Carlton tells Will to get away from him and that he heard what Lisa said. So she don't need me, she has you, right? And Will tells Carlton that he was only trying to be there for Lisa, all right? Because she was upset about her mom. So Carlton starts to break down and Will comforts him. After this, they decided that Carlton was too much of a mess to recite the poem with Lisa, so Will filled in for him, okay? Now, after that, Angela decides to overstep and go over Vivian's head by asking her husband, Fred, who don't freaking live there, if she could say a few words. And I was like, wow, this woman is really something else. Like, you done slept with the woman's husband even while she was sick, and even as the woman is dead, you still trying to take her place? Like, there's no more competition, honey. I mean, this woman's memory can't even be honored as long as Angela is in the room, okay? What is her problem? You could even see on her face that she was jealous while Lisa was talking about how her mom loved poems and Tupac, right? And Fred Wilkes, he's even worse for telling her that she could get up there and say a few words. It's insulting at this point, Say a few words for what? You were a mistress. Go sit down somewhere. Anyway, Vivian had enough at this point and she told Angela off, okay? She was like, when Fred has an event at his own daggone house, he can pick whoever he wants to speak, okay? Then she tells Phil, she's like, you know what? I had enough of this. This day is not about her, okay? Then she says, Angela, you are a guest in my home, so you can either kindly sit down or I'm going to have to kick you out myself. And I was like, yes, honey, go ahead, Aunt Viv. And to be honest, guys, who is Fred to tell Angela that she could say a few words? It's like he can't get enough of disrespecting Gail. Like, you dogged her out when y'all was married, and now you think it's okay to have your mistress say some words, You gave up that right a long time ago, okay? You ain't honor the woman when she was alive, and you clearly don't honor her in death, okay? And worst of all, it's like he doesn't even care about how it affects Lisa, which makes me feel pretty bad for her, because she could see all of this. And she was already sensing that this woman was trying to erase her mom and take her place and all of this stuff. So, yeah, everything has been confirmed in this episode. Everything that Lisa was feeling has been confirmed. This lady is no freaking good, and neither is Fred. He's a piece of garbage, and so is his wife, all right? Anyway, after Viv went off, Fred was like, we're leaving. And Phil was like, please do. And Angela says, come on, Lisa. And Lisa was like, I'm staying. And y'all already know that Lisa was so happy that Aunt Viv told this chick off, okay? She even told Will later on that Aunt Viv said everything that her mom would have said to her if she was still here. All right, so back to this scene. So then Uncle Phil lets Fred know that he already knows that it's because of him that he lost his endorsement, and he knows Fred is running against him. So Fred tells Phil that he's going to crush him in that race. And all I have to say to this, guys, is what can you expect from a man like Fred who cheated on his dying wife? Couldn't be a good husband. Why should he be a good freaking friend? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's pretty much the recap of this episode, guys. No one expected Carlton of snorting any drugs. They just thought, he's going through a few things and maybe he was on a little bit of meds because they know he's taking anxiety meds. They just don't know he's freaking snorting Xanax, all right? Reed, he tells Viv that her painting sold for $20,000, which means that he won the bet. Everyone believed that Angela had it coming. Hillary does a sexy video, and Will and Lisa have another heart-to-heart, and he tells her that he doesn't want to bring any more drama into her life, so maybe it would be better if they stayed friends. But Lisa was like, is that what you really want? And Will says, no. And she says, me neither. And they kiss, and that's how the episode ended, guys. And I will say that I really enjoyed this episode, and probably my favorite part was Aunt Viv getting at Angela. Okay? Get out of here, girl. All right, guys. Even though this episode is late, let me know what y'all thought about it. You heard what I thought about it. Let me know what you thought about it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Stay tuned for episode number 7 coming up soon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.